history of Ghana, but of course it's a great event for another amazing episode of BackPage. On Citi TV with me, Caleb Kuda. Welcome, man. Welcome again, my friends. So, last time, the mosquito general, or you say it is General Mosquito, well, however you look at it, there is always a mosquito, right? Good. So, General Mosquito took fellow Ghanaians aback a bit. He made the claim that the funeral of the former president is being hijacked by the current president, you know, at the detriment, or to the detriment of the foundees of their founder. Fellow Ghanaian, according to General Mosquito, he was alleging that fellow Ghanaians, you know, had deprived the distinguished babies with a reputation of sharp teeth, sparing none, excluding no one, including their founder, were being robbed of the opportunity to sign the Book of Condolence.
We've been to the residence of the family to offer our condolences. The family, by which I mean the maternal family from Anglo was represented, and the immediate nucleus family was represented. President Mahama was there in the company of the high hierarchy of the party. And we were told that the Book of Condolence has been opened at the International Conference Center. So they wish we all go there to sign. By the time we reached there, the state officials are taking control and locked up the International Conference Center, taking the Book of Condolence away, and said that they have been directed by the state to prevent President Mahama from signing. They are taking the book away, and that it is only Monday that they will bring the book back.
So they locked the place, they should go away. Well, that was the public beginning of the NPP NDCification of the death of the late Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings. So the NDC opened its own Book of Condolence, and John Mahama poured his out there. Again, there was a mammoth peace walk or so, and people were dividedly united in the death of a former president, to the extent that social distancing was important. Yeah, that has been with us for some time. But in order to claim the dead, no, the party held a vigil. And the talk of that vigil on social media was not as much as the legacy and the fond memories of the late president as it was about the freshness of his shadow, Kimathi. People were shooting their shot left, right, center on social media. Some say, oh, this is simply because of Kimathi's complexion and people didn't have, and those falling over themselves over him, you know, it is inferiority complex. And I'd show him. And that's to say, oh, it is campaign that is doing you because the boy is fine. He's finer than your boy. You understand? And these are the same people who threatened to release hell on earth simply because, Opana, my brother, you went to enter their DM. You see, my brother, now that you know, if you don't have the accreditation, don't be entering people's DMs by heart. You have to be accredited. You know, that's now, listen, when this government says it has created more jobs than Kwame Nkrumah, Rawlings, Kufuor, Mahama combined, including Professor Mills, you have to believe it. I'm telling you. Just say, immediately someone got a job. I'm telling you, moderator of the signing of the Book of Condolence. Can you, Nanado? Can you him? What be that? Job creating government, Papa B. This in the future, no? I mean, if this government should be out of office and this person is searching for a job, I'm sure his CV will have moderator of the signing of the book of condolence. Then the panelists will ask, can you please explain? Well, you see, when in the year 2000, when the late former president, I was the only competent person in the government to be the moderator for the book of condolence. Then the question was, so what exactly did you do? And we say, I opened the book for the dignitaries, to sign, and I made sure that they all use the same pen in the era of COVID-19. I love that. So the office of the moderator of the book of condolence, it happened, and it actually worked a magic, because Mahama got to sign in the National Book of Condolence, and the whole NDC MPP Book of Condolence thing died down a bit, and the Jedu was there. Some Jedu.
Other justices of the Supreme Court, Justice Bafoboni, who was elevated to the Supreme Court bench during the tenure of former President Jerry John Rawlings, as well as that of Justice Jones Doche. Justice Jones Doche was also here. After that, former President and candidate of the NDC for the 2020 elections, John Dramani Mahama, filed in, accompanied by his wife, Lordina Mahama. They were here, they signed the Book of Condolence and filed out.
I had to be that solid guy. He could literally tell who had signed the Book of Condolence just by looking at the back of their heads. So crowd who say, oh, this is this person. I've been to and you do for life. Also, we're observing, the signing of the National Book of Condolence for the late Mr. Boom. No, then another boom happened. Shots were fired. Hey, my God.
According to the statement released by Martin Amidu after his resignation, he indicated that in undertaking the analysis of the risk of prevention of corruption and anti-corruption assessment, he sincerely believed that he was executing an independent mandate under the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act 2017. Now, quote, the reaction I received for daring to produce the Ejapa Royalties Transaction Limited anti-corruption report convinces me beyond any reasonable doubt that I was not intended to exercise any independence as the special prosecutor in the prevention, investigation, prosecution, and recovery of assets of corruption.
What a shock! Corruption has finally fought the only self-acclaimed non-anti-corruption entrepreneur. How?
Quote, the reaction I received for daring to produce the Ejapa Royalties Transaction Limited anti-corruption report convinces me beyond any reasonable doubt that I was not intended to exercise any independence as the special prosecutor in the prevention, investigation, prosecution, and recovery of assets of corruption.
Now this is serious. Akwesipita, you mean the man who said God did not put us on this rich land to be poor? It is because of bad leadership and corruption that is what has made us poor. You mean the same man who promised to deliver us from corruption and usher us into shared prosperity? He was interfering in your work. One that bothered, among other things, the involvement of his kith and kin in the choppement of our collective Japan. Is that what you are saying?
The second and the last nail that was driven into the coffin is the death of President Rawlings.
Seriously?
Yes. Rawlings' death on 12 November is the final nail that was driven into the Martin Amidu coffin. It is the reason he left.
Did he state that in any of his...
If you're holding the press release, look at the last page.
Okay.
Look at the...
Okay, yes. The events of 12 November removed the only protection I have from the threats and plans directed at me. Okay.
So he said
that...
He
did not mention the man's name.
Yes.
But he was referring to Rawlings.
Yes. The death of Rawlings was on November 12th.
Okay.
This is abrosoliciously serious. The fearless Akwesipita was being threatened as in life and death matter, and his only source of protection was the departed Mr. Boom. Then what shall the rest of us do? Wait. You mean corruption has fought our fight against corruption? and knocked him out totally. Hey. Manasseh. The thing, they should have knocked him out in round one. The corruption, it has fought him out a long time. My God.
I just believed he had stayed too long in that position. And when I met him this year, not long ago, I asked him directly, why are you still at post? Because I felt that Martin Amidu's reputation, he had built a reputation. Some of us looked up to him when we started doing this anti-corruption thing. I was still in journalism school when he was doing his exploits. So we looked up to him. So for him to have sat down for all that he had built to go down the drain, I felt it was too much. And some of us knew some of the things that were not public. So I was surprised that he stayed this long.
Now people say, I call for those corruption fights today. You know your crowd. Do you remember? I'll put my presidency on the line in the fight against Galamsey. When was the last time you heard that thing again? 13 years ago. 13 years ago. But I just say, Martin, I mean, you know, it be knocking too much. It be knocking.
Ghanaians, despite all the challenges that he claimed he has faced in the office that were militating against his ability to fight corruption, were expecting him to stand his grounds. You know, he shouldn't have allowed himself to be politically bullied by the president to pursue an agenda that favored him. He should have stood his ground like the, what's the name, Domlevo did, you know, until he was asked to go proceed on leave.
Martin Amidu was not appointed to come and fight corruption. Martin Amidu was appointed for political reason. And Martin Amidu knew very well that he was not put there to fight corruption. He knew very well that he was being rewarded for the dirty work he did for Nana Akufo-Addo, His Excellency the President.
Wow. No mercy for the vigilante, no mercy for that question, Peter. No, basically, some people say that resignation almost makes this description of the Martin Amidu, the special prosecutor to former special prosecutor. This description, because of the resignation, as a yampa.
He's a coward.
That's hot. Because they say Bequeen Di Fatano not lamentations and Ntuatua Bebre followed by resignation. Because I think it's fashion. So well, some Ghanaians say they know if Mr. Amidu believes pan there or your guy, he shouldn't have left.
At the same time, I say I'm disappointed and saddened because I don't think resignation under these circumstances is the best way out. Because when you read the letter, it is one where the special prosecutor feels his functions are being interfered with by the presidency. Then I would expect an independent prosecutor to stand his grounds.
Oh, okay, just he has run his grounds. Interesting times ahead. Along the line, Special Prosecutor made us know that Sana stand his ground. When he was working, you know, was not buying him on top of not giving him accommodation and befitting, you understand? But it got more interesting when Akufo-Addo accepted the resignation of the special prosecutor and also decided to respond to Martin Amidu blow by blow.
At the outset, it must be made clear that throughout your tenure as special prosecutor, neither the president nor any member of his government has interfered or sought to interfere with your work. Again, in a recent letter dated 3rd August 2020, from you to the Chief of Staff at the Office of the President, you stated in part as follows: I have remained in this office this long out of personal respect for the President's shared commitment with me to fight corruption. It is therefore surprising that you would now make the untenable claim that your resignation is as a result of the President's alleged interference in your work.
Essentially, government released a correspondence between Martin Amidu and the Office of the Chief of Staff, and even the Ministry of Finance did something. They say, one, Sebi, you are supposed to be a side chick. That we are using you to show off to the world that we care about fighting corruption. You are just supposed to be a side chick. But you want to come and live in the main house. Have you seen that before? We give you keys in envelope for a new apartment you say you don't like. We should go inside. Sebi, you want us to come and commission the house so that the main madam will know that, what we did for the corrupt, we are doing the same for the anti-corrupt or the corrupt fighter. Otibida. On the Akoma part though, government says it is not true. It released all the Momo transfers and showed how the figure actually increased over a 3-year period. All that the side chick Martin Amidu needed to do was to pay some small charges, some gift mix matters be. And that's why every ministry has had those issues and they all needed some help on the gift mixing. No, Opanasi, he has been stabbed. Giddy. He says he has never even, he never even took any job money. The one they call sitting allowance. Now Ghanaians are torn between Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu and fellow Ghanaian Akbar Fuado, particularly over the Ajapa way now. Because I am a Kikakra, but who do you trust? Who do you trust? That's the question. Meanwhile, guess who is doing guess who is doing
Oye Juma, your first administration, or Attorney General, Menenishia, or Foreign Affairs, and so Mekoni Office, Emma, Yenina, Yenibia. Into a cancer, I say, I'm taking you back to PPA because of the good job you did. These were the words of the president.
This is no one recognized you long ago.
Sanity. Into a kind, I'm say, Your Excellency, I thank you. Into that was February. Into March, precisely on the 9th, Namehona call say, my appointment, I am ready.
Somebody says, when the cat is away, you can do pam. After allegedly stashing some 42 million, it's okay. It's okay. You know what? Terminator 1. He has made my week. And I'll tell you about it after this break. Don't go. I am attempting to come. I mean, I'm coming. Don't go. I'm coming.
In Ghana, the law enjoins all drivers and passengers in a moving vehicle to wear a seatbelt. No excuse is good enough for not wearing a seatbelt. Seatbelts that are fitted in vehicles are adjustable, so please adjust it to suit you. Let it rest as close as possible to the body. As a driver, before you drive off, ensure everyone else, especially children in the vehicle, have fastened their seatbelts. The airbag is not an alternative to a seatbelt, because in the event of a crash, only the fastened seatbelt will stop a passenger from being thrown far forward. So buckle up. Stop road crashes now. Stay alive.
This road safety education is brought to you by the National Road Safety Authority.
ago, I had nowhere to turn to. I needed funds urgently. That's when I ran into Wafakofi. It's you, Wafakofi.
Hello.
It's good I saw you here.
Really?
You know, with businesses restarting after the lockdown, getting funds has been really difficult to pay for some of the goods in high demand, and my supply is no longer selling on credit.
Sister Ama, my financial partner is Advanced Savings and Loans. Advanced stayed by my side all through the COVID crisis. They offered me grace period. They also gave me advice on how to manage my business, and now they are here to help me clear my containers by offering me a loan.
Are you sure they are giving out loans even during the COVID pandemic?
Yes, Advanced Ghana has you covered.
So that's how I got a loan to stock up my shop.
Call us on 0800 355 355 or visit our nearest branch for our various loan and deposit products. Advance, your preferred financial partner.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. It was a sad scene at the Odona pedestrian market. Yeah, it was a very sad scene. See.
We're shopping away, Evan.
I've lost everything. The only thing that left to me is Bible. So I'll take it. That is all what's left to me. As for this, I can't say it is well with my soul. I invested 3 days today was 5,000. That was 50 million. But the one inside, I have student bed sheet, duvet, a lot of things in the shop. I can't say.
Man, relax.
Indeed, it was a really, really sad one to see, and fellow Ghanaians couldn't believe his eyes. Fellow Ghanaians.
This is really sad. Yes. What? See how many people are affected?
3,000 something plus.
Oh, what? He was like, Yeah. But we hear some promises are flowing, man.
So we are looking at providing some support to the women and men who have lost their products through the fire.
How soon is that going to be?
Within the next week, we'll start putting things in place. By tomorrow, we've worked with the MCE to ensure he has a database of all of them. So immediately we'll work with him to ensure that they get something within the week or two.
So the sooner that can be done, the better.
Sure. Yes, Mr. President.
Oh, this is really sad. Yes.
What?
Okay, so that was about it there, right? It's not every day that fire outbreaks get the sympathies of the president like that, you see. So, yeah. Wait. So, fellow Ghanaians, there are some issues that... that's how we're supposed to. There are some issues that we keep reporting on that it will be good to see you and your men and women on the grounds to do. You don't know? No, I'm serious. Like, no, like that crazy flooding situation as well as the traffic, situation on the Odoko Kanishi Highway there. What? It's not bad at all.
I felt lucky seeing how this taxi driver got trapped in the very pothole I was fortunate to escape. I felt sorry for the driver because these 4 onlookers offered to help, only if he paid them 15 Ghana cedis each. That was an amount he couldn't part with. At this point, an extremely nauseous stench from the pool of water made me feel like throwing up. I later learned that some residents in Odoko discharged fecal matter from their homes into the drains, and that was responsible for the stench.
Well, I am quite glad to report that my favorite minister, you understand? Yeah. Christian Wagwata, he has been on the grounds and he's dealing with the water, you understand?
Almost any time it rains, as soon as people see that the clouds are forming and it's going to rain, they put themselves together and throw all kinds of gadgets into the drain, hoping that it will be washed to what destination? And how can, I want to say it again, how can any sane Ghanaian do this? And these are the very people who will be complaining. It's regrettable, it's unfortunate. You know, that some of our people behave as if there are no brains, you know, in their heads.
Listen, people, and I'll be blaming Urban Gross. Is it saying? It's saying you put your fridges in the drains. Well, I'm happy the minister was there to, No, but he was essentially complaining and crying over the situation, so I don't know whether the boss, terminate them, demoralize them, let them deal with them. Don't resign into complaining. Yeah, I mean, a few people cannot hold the rest of us back. Do something.
Business Dashboard is sponsored by ADB Bank, Truly Agric, and more.